Come with me as we go for a spooky day out in the beautiful city of Edinburgh. We started our day by driving across the rainy River Forth over the Queensferry crossing and straight into the city of Edinburgh, passing through the historic and picturesque grass market. We stopped to say hello to Greyfriars Bobby, of course giving him the traditional boop on the nose, before heading to the small opening beside the Greyfriars pub and into the kirkyard. At the entrance is the grave of Greyfriars Bobby himself, the loyal dog who would not leave his owner's side even after he died. He sat on his owner's grave, leaving only to eat, until he himself passed away. We then started the loop of the graveyard, which follows the lines of burial layers and mausoleums along the south wall. These became popular in the 18th century to prevent grave robbery, which had become a big problem. They also created mort safes, which kept bodies to provide Edinburgh Medical College with corpses for dissection. In the middle of the south wall, we reached the famous domed structure, Bloody Mackenzie's tomb, so called because of his prosecution and execution of Covenanters, who were those who had signed a document seeking independence from the English crown in this very graveyard. After his death, it became a game for children to chant, "Bloody Mackenzie, come out if you dare, lift the sneck and draw the bar," then running off before his ghost could appear. From the 1980s onwards, when ghost walks became popular, many reports of unusual happenings were reported whilst in the mausoleum. Dizziness, nausea, cold spots, and even fainting, bruises and scratches were common among tour groups. The mausoleum was ultimately sealed up when 2 teenagers broke in and were caught playing football with a human skull. We walked around the raised paths and stairways higher than the surrounding streets, as hundreds of thousands of bodies have been buried here in unmarked graves since the 16th century. We enjoyed a spectacular view of Edinburgh Castle, perched high on its cliff, and noticed the first few wee snowdrops poking out of the graves before heading to the Royal Mile and the Museum of Childhood. Opened in 1955, the museum has a spectacular collection of items showing how children lived and played from mid-19th century to present day. The collection of dolls is amazing. From huge to tiny, cute to creepy, every part of history has been represented here. Some with claws and some with scary eyes or no eyes at all seem to have come straight out of a horror movie, but must once have been a treasured toy for a little boy or girl, or at the very least a feared gift from a loved one that they could not throw out. A particularly fearsome creature, which at first glimpse seemed to be taxidermied, although I hope there's not an animal like this somewhere in the world, had pride of place on a table in the display, and since I have a particular fear of puppets, this place did not disappoint. We carried on through the display, spotting some familiar faces of dolls from Scary Stories, and bears that are the same as the ones my parents had 70 years ago, before travelling further upstairs in the museum to see a few more toys and haunting-looking dolls. This really is a must-see if you're in Edinburgh. Whether you're looking for spooky tales or cute reminders of the past, there's a lot for adults and children alike. I was particularly fond of the bears, but seeing the characters that I watched in my childhood in a museum as if they were ancient is a bit of a shock to the system. After we were done taking in all the museum had to offer, and going round twice, we took in some more sights of the Royal Mile before hopping on a train home, tired but full of historical and spooky stories.